exciting grand final of Mastermind.
Thousands of people wanted to sit in this black chair tonight, and hundreds of them were auditioned. 96 took part in the heats, and 6 of them made it through to tonight's grand final. In the next hour, one of them will become the nation's mastermind. Our first finalist in the spotlight tonight is Stuart Cross from Carlisle, a museum and art gallery assistant, and his specialist subject is the history of Venice to 1797. Second is Anna Torpey from Wallasey, a full-time mother. Her subject is Steve McQueen. Third, David Down from Breaston, a retired civil servant, and his subject is the D-Day landings. Our fourth finalist, Sandra Piddock from Plymouth, a retired catering supervisor, whose subject is It Ain't Half Hot, Mum. Fifth, David Clark from Port Talbot, a teacher. His subject, the history of London Bridge. And our sixth finalist tonight is Derek Moody from Warrington, a production manager, and his subject is The Godfather Trilogy. John Humphreys, and welcome to the Mastermind Grand Final. The venue tonight for what is the 30th final in the show's history is the Saltire Centre at Glasgow Caledonian University. Mastermind has been staged in many universities over the years, but none quite like this one. This building was completed only 2 years ago, and it has already won awards, not only for its stunning design, but also for the effect it has on the students who come here to learn. It's a glimpse, perhaps, of what many people think the university of the future should look like. As well as providing a dramatic backdrop to what we hope will be a dramatic final, the Saltire Centre also has a personal link with the history of Mastermind. Magnus Magnusson, who died last year, was Chancellor of this university, and the building of this centre was a project he was personally and passionately involved with. I'm sure he'd have been delighted to see what's happening here tonight. Well, the surroundings may be a bit unfamiliar to our contenders, but the rules certainly aren't. 2 minutes on their specialist subject and 2 minutes on general knowledge, and that's it. At the end of those 2 minutes, one of them will take home this glass bowl and, more importantly, be crowned the nation's mastermind. So, the stage is set. Let's get on with it and ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name is?
Stuart Cross.
Your occupation?
I'm a museum and gallery assistant.
Your chosen subjects the last 2 times around were European female painters until 1900 and steel eye span. Your chosen subject tonight is?
The history of Venice up to 1797. I think what's special about Venice to me is that it is simply the most remarkable city that ever was built. It developed into possibly the most successful republic ever. Venice as a city, of course, is full of many iconic sites. It's just so lovely to see the city again. It's a few years since I've been here, and it's just a pleasure to associate this beautiful city with all the facts that I've been learning over the last few weeks. I think the history of glassblowing is very interesting in Venice, although it is as a result of a fire in the Middle Ages that the glassblowing is now on Murano. A law was passed by the authorities in Venice to say that no furnaces were to be allowed within the city of Venice, so they all shifted over to Murano, and that's where they remained. And it's world famous for its glass production, but it's a very, very old art indeed. San Rocco is interesting because it is one of the most perfect manifestations of what makes Venice great artistically. There's no doubt that in the 16th century, Venice was the powerhouse of art and architecture, and Tintoretto's work in particular in San Rocco is one of the most complete examples of that remains within the city. I was inspired a little by last year's winner, Jeff Thomas. Like Jeff, I've been on Mastermind before, and his success made me determined to have one more go and see what happened. And so it's good to be in the final, although it's a little daunting as well.
2 minutes on the history of Venice, starting now. According to tradition, what was the name of the first Doge of Venice elected in 697 AD?
Anafesto.
Correct. What name did the Venetians give to the mainland territories of the Republic, which eventually stretched from the Istrian Peninsula to the Alps?
The Empire.
No, terra firma. Which Flemish-born composer became choirmaster at St. Mark's in 1527 and established the Venetian tradition that dominated European music for the next 200 years?
Adrian Willard.
Correct. What name was given to the Doge's ceremonial barge, the last of which was designed by Antonio Corradini in the 18th century?
Bucintoro.
Correct. Who commanded the Venetian fleet that reconquered the Peloponnese and Athens from the Turks in 1687? He was elected Doge the following year.
Francesco Morosini.
Correct. Which artifacts brought to Venice after the sack of Constantinople in 1204 were removed by Napoleon's troops after the fall of the city?
Bronze horses.
The four horses, yes. What was the name of the Doge who was forced to resign in 1457 after his son Jacopo was convicted of treason?
Francesco Foscari.
Correct. The building of which great church, designed by Baldassare Longhena, was begun in 1631 to celebrate the city's deliverance from the plague?
Salute.
Correct. The Venetians stole the body of Saint Isidore from which island in 1125 and hid it for 200 years in case the Greeks wanted it back?
Chios.
Correct. What was the name of Venice's last condottiere who bequeathed the city a fortune on the condition that his statue was erected in St. Mark's Square?
Gattamelata.
Colleoni. According to tradition, the Tiepolo plot of 1310 was put down after an old woman dropped what object onto the head of the rebellious standard-bearer?
A stone, a grinding stone.
A stone mortar, yes. Which town at the edge of the lagoon was captured by the Genoese in August 1379, but retaken by the Venetians in June of the following year?
Chioggia.
Yes. Which architect was thrown into prison in 1545 after the ceiling of the library he designed in the Piazzetta collapsed?
Sansovino.
Correct. Venice was forced to surrender the Peloponnese to the Turks at which peace conference in 1718?
Passerovich.
Correct. The Cardoro on the Grand Canal was built for which family in around 1425?
The Mosonigos.
No, the Contarini family. You had no passes. Stuart Cross, you have 12 points. And our second finalist, please. And your name is?
Anna Torpy.
Your occupation?
Full-time mother.
Your subjects the last two times around, The Sopranos and the novels of Joanne Harris. Your subject tonight is?
The life and films of Steve McQueen. I read in the paper that no women were applying to go on Mastermind, and it was just a red rag to a bull, really. I've enjoyed doing the revision. There's nothing like getting your teeth into something for, feeling like you've got your brain back after 6 years of doing nothing at all, except changing nappies. Oh, that was brilliant, Ted. Ted and Jude don't really know what Mastermind is, of course. They just know that I've been watching the telly a lot. Hello, Barbara. It was amazing meeting Barbara McQueen because I'd read so much about her. Barbara's photographs of Steve definitely show some sort of inner tranquility that shines through these pictures, whether it be on the set of Tom Horn or looking at his favourite antiques or just hanging out generally. He was famously not that keen on being photographed, so this is quite a remarkable record of his last 2 years. Oh, I'm absolutely delighted about being in the final. I'm shocked. I'm just going to try and get all the answers right on the first round and just hope that I'm lucky with the general knowledge.
Steve McQueen in 2 minutes, starting now. Steve McQueen was born in which suburb of Indianapolis in March 1930?
Beech Grove.
Correct. As a teenager, McQueen was sent to which reform school in Chino, California, and given the number 3188. He later gave financial support to the school.
Junior Boys Republic.
Yes, in The Great Escape, what's the first excuse that Virgil Hills gives for crossing the wire, although he then says he was going to cut through the fence with wire cutters?
He was getting his baseball back.
Yes, he was billed as Stephen McQueen in which 1958 low-budget horror movie?
The Blob.
Yes, what was the name of the great-uncle on whose farm McQueen spent most of his early childhood?
Uncle Claude
Thompson, yes. For which 1969 film did McQueen receive a Golden Globe nomination as Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy?
Papillon.
The Rivas. What was the full name of the Manila-born actress whom he married in San Clemente in November 1956?
Neil Adams.
Yes, McQueen appeared in the title role in the 1966 film Nevada Smith and as Martin Cable in which other film based on work by Harold Robbins?
Never Love a Stranger.
Yes, Lieutenant Frank Bullitt is asked to keep which potential state witness safe but ends up shooting him dead at San Francisco Airport?
Johnny Ross.
Yes, what was the name of the production company that McQueen formed in the early 1960s, which took its name from the road where he used to live?
Solar.
Yes, which boxer does Tom Horn insult and end up fighting after being asked to join in a toast to him?
Pass.
While he was contracted to Wanted Dead or Alive, McQueen was offered the lead in which film, although the part ultimately went to George Peppard?
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Correct. In the towering inferno, Fire Chief O'Halloran is called in to fight a fire that has started on which floor of the glass tower?
The 81st.
Yes, which pioneer of so-called ecological therapy and the author of the book One Answer to Cancer treated McQueen in Mexico in the last year of his life?
William Kelly.
Correct. At the climax of the poker game in the Cincinnati Kid, which card does Lancey Howard play to defeat the Kid and retain his title as the man?
The Jack of Hearts.
Jack of Diamond. In March 1970, McQueen and Peter Revson finished a close second to which future Formula One world champion in a 12-hour race at Sebring?
Mario Andreotti.
Andretti, correct. Which Boston bank is robbed under the direction of Thomas Crown, who's then investigated by Vicky Anderson, played by Faye Dunaway? I'll have to hurry you. Take a guess.
The Boston Municipal Bank.
Nearly. The Boston Mercantile Bank. You had one pass. The boxer was Gentleman Jim Corbett. You have a total, Anna Torpy, of 13 points. And our third finalist, please. And your name is?
David Down,
Your occupation?
retired civil servant.
Your two previous subjects were Claude Monet and Bobby Charlton. Tonight's is?
D-Day landings.
I suppose I have to say entering Mastermind was initially a challenge, partly a challenge from my wife. Having retired about 18 months or so ago, the challenge of actually keeping your brain in some sort of gear is quite useful, but also to see if you've something that I could do. I chose the D-Day landings for one or two reasons. I have a family association. My dad was attached to Montgomery's headquarters as a dispatch rider, but I've also been to Normandy on several occasions. We're in Bushy Park now, where Eisenhower did plan the invasion or refine the plans for the invasion. The description of what actually was here during the war, it's almost impossible to tell when we sit in a lovely leafy area that this was once swarmed with American airmen, soldiers, sailors, you name it, as part of the greater effort to make the invasion plans. Having come this far, I will give it my best shot. I'm not going to roll over and give up just for the sake of appearing in the final, but it's been stimulating. And hope I will give a good account of myself in the final.
The D-Day landings in 2 minutes, starting now. On D-Day, the Allies suffered the greatest number of casualties on which of the beaches, which was given the epithet bloody?
Omaha.
Yes, Montgomery and other senior officers presented the Overlord plans in the hall of which school in Hammersmith in the spring of 1944?
St. Paul's.
Correct. Companies of which American battalion were given the task of destroying the German gun emplacements on the cliff top of Pointe du Hoc, which overlooked Utah and Omaha beaches?
The 2nd Ranger Battalion.
Correct. The bridge of Bénouville became known by what name after its capture in the early hours of D-Day?
Pegasus Bridge.
Yes, which soldier from the 6th Green Howard who landed on Gold Beach was the only D-Day participant to be awarded the Victoria Cross for his actions during the landings?
Sergeant Stanley Hollis.
Correct. On D-Day, Canadian troops were unable to capture which airfield west of Caen as originally planned?
Benville.
Carpiquet. What nickname was given to the thousands of wooden stakes that were used in the German coastal defences which were intended to prevent Allied glider landings?
Rommel's Asparagus.
Yes, who piped ashore the 1st Special Service Brigade led by No. 4 Commando on Sword Beach?
Bill Millin.
Correct. Hundreds of American servicemen were killed off which Devon beach in April 1944 when German E-boats attacked as they were practicing for the landings on Utah Beach?
Slapton Sands.
Yes, what was the Allied code name for the beach where the 3rd Canadian Division landed?
Juno.
Yes, Montgomery established his tactical headquarters in the grounds of which chateau on the 8th of June?
Curui.
Yes, when Rommel was appointed as Inspector of Coastal Defences in 1943, who was his immediate superior?
Von Rundstedt.
Correct. What collective nickname was given to the specially modified Allied tanks that had been designed by the commander of the 79th Armoured Division?
Hobart's Funnies.
Correct. The British 6th Airborne Division, in particular the 9th Battalion of the Parachute Regiment, had the task of knocking out which German artillery installation that threatened Sword Beach?
The Merville Battery.
Correct. Which American infantry division, nicknamed the All-American because its men came from every state, secured the town of Sainte-Mère-Église early on D-Day?
The 82nd Airborne.
Yes. Which town on the Cottontown Peninsula was captured by the US 101st Airborne Division on the 12th of June, which enabled the Utah and Omaha beachheads to link up?
Carentan.
Correct. As part of the Allied deception plans, which entirely, I've started so I shall finish, which entirely fictitious army was supposedly located in southeast England under the command of General Patton?
The 1st US Army Group.
Correct, or FUSAG as it was known. David Down, no passes, you have 16 points. And our fourth finalist, please. And your name is?
Sandra Piddock,
Your occupation?
retired catering supervisor.
Your previous subjects have been Coronation Street and the Poldark novels. Your subject tonight is?
It ain't half hot, Mum. I love all the vintage comedies, classic comedies, whatever you want to call them. It ain't half hot, Mum, for those who haven't seen it. It's the adventures, or possibly misadventures, of a Royal Artillery concert party in Doolally in India. And if anybody thinks, as I did to start with, that Doolally is a figment of Jimmy Perry and David Croft's imagination, it's not. I'm here in West London today, home of Jimmy Perry.
Hello, nice to see you.
Creator of It Ain't Half Hot, Mum. It Ain't Half Hot, Mum. You say in your autobiography that it's inspired by your time in the Royal Artillery concert party.
Ain't Half Hot, Mum, is true totally to life, as it was when I was a young soldier in the Royal Artillery concert party, entertaining the troops and trying to avoid getting shot. We all had seen action, quite frankly. Those people existed. That idiot colonel, the idiot captain, the charwalla. What people don't realise is David and I first wrote that series to try and explain people who don't know their history why we are a multiracial society today.
I didn't expect to get through the first round, and I'm in the final now, and it's just marvellous. It's a marvellous experience.
It Ain't Half Hot, Mum, in 2 minutes, starting now. Which character uses the expression "It ain't half hot, Mum" when writing home during the first episode?
Gonna park in.
Yes, in The Curse of the Sardu, the itching powder is made from chilies, mouse whiskers and the hard, short hairs of a certain part of which animal?
Water buffalo.
Yes, 7 out of the 8 series were produced by David Croft, but who was the producer of Series 3?
Graham Muir.
Correct. Which 3 words complete Ranji's old Hindu proverb that begins, "If you kiss a thief"?
Watch your teeth.
Note, count your teeth. In Star Commandos, La-di-da Gunner Graham is instructed to take how long to play the minute waltz?
90 seconds.
30 seconds. In Puddings from Heaven, Lofty says he dreamt about eating Yorkshire pudding, but woke to find that he was doing what?
Chewing his topi.
Yes, what's the title of the book that Sergeant Major Williams is reading on his bed when Ranji calls on him in the episode My Lovely Boy?
No orchids for Miss Blandish.
Correct. During the 3rd series, Sergeant Major receives a death threat that bears the sign of which Chinese tong or secret society?
The Triads.
The Black Scorpion. In The Grand Illusion, what object does the magician use to hypnotise the men during a performance of the Indian rope trick?
A monkey skull.
Correct. In Series 8, Captain Ashwood says that if the Brigadier calls him Sparrow Legs, he'll retaliate by calling him by what name?
Fish face.
Winnie the Pooh Tum. In Series 2, Daphne Waddill Evans is played by Margaret Courtney, who plays the same character during the kidnap storyline in Series 4.
Pass.
In the 7th series, Captain Ashwood's given an experimental anti-malaria drug by mistake. What effect does it have on him?
His skull grows through his hair.
Yeah, loses hair. Who co-wrote the signature tune for the programme along with Jimmy Perry?
Derek Taverner.
Correct. According to Ranji, in The Road to Banu, what do British officers not do while the train's standing at the station?
Cut the toenails.
Yes, in the final episode, the members of the concert party agreed to burn their uniforms at the bottom of their gardens. According to Gunner Evans, what's the only problem with this plan?
He lives in a flat.
He does. While rehearsing an apple for the teacher in the Great Payroll Snatch episode, what does Lofty originally use as a substitute for an apple?
Mango.
Yes, when Bombardier Beaumont kicks the Sergeant Major, what punishment does he receive from the Colonel?
He can't play Ginger Rogers again.
No, he can't. A sign advertising the services of which tailor appears at the start of the Series 2 episode, Has Anyone Seen My Cobra?
Patel.
Binder Ali. You had 1 pass. Francis Bennett was the actor who played that particular character. 1 pass, Sandra Piddock, 12 points. And our fifth finalist, please. And your name?
David Clark,
Your occupation?
teacher.
Your previous two subjects have been Henry Ford and George IV. Your subject tonight is...
The history of London Bridge. This is Belthorn Park, which is in Hanwell, which is part of the London Borough of Ealing. To my right, just there, you can actually see there's the church in which I was christened, and there's also the school which I went to. And it's one of the reasons I became a teacher, is because I had some excellent teachers in that school and in my primary school as well. London history has always exerted a great fascination over me. I think of myself as a Londoner, even though also an adopted Welshman, I'd like to think. What's so special about London Bridge? What's so special about the old London Bridge is easier to answer. Just look at it behind me. Have you ever seen anything like that? And it's absolutely amazing to think that something like that could have been built almost 800 years ago. And there were houses and buildings on it right from the very start of its life. And it was vital to the life of the city. The children in my school, Cutts Art School, think it's absolutely fantastic that I've actually got to the Mastermind final. They're really supportive. I mean, they love you doing well, you know, and it's all part of the atmosphere of achievement, which in any school you try and foster. Being in Mastermind is something I've wanted to do since I used to watch the programme when I was, 10, 11, 12. I think we used to watch it on a Sunday evening in my grandmother's front room upstairs. I mean, you know, my nan, she died many years ago, and God rest her soul, I wish she could be here to actually see it. But knowing myself that I've achieved this much, of getting as far as I had, is a tremendous sense of satisfaction.
The history of London Bridge in 2 minutes. In 1305, whose head is recorded as being the first to be displayed on London Bridge?
William Wallace.
Correct. According to an old saying, London Bridge was built on what? Because of a tax imposed by Henry II in 1176 to help pay for its construction.
Warpax.
Yes. Searle Mercer, William Almain, and which other London merchant are recorded as being responsible for the completion of the bridge in 1209 after the death of Peter de Colechurch?
Benedict Richter, also called Benedict Boatwright.
Correct. What name was given to the protective structures consisting of wooden piles filled with rubble which were built around each pier of the bridge to fend off debris and traffic?
Starlings.
Correct. Lord Wells, the English ambassador to Scotland, jousted with which Scotsman on the bridge on St George's Day 1390 following an argument about whose nation was more courageous?
Sir David de Lindsay.
Yes, the head of which Catholic goldsmith who became a victim of the Popish plot in 1678 was the last to be displayed on the bridge?
William Staley.
Correct. London Bridge was the only river crossing in central London until the opening of which bridge in 1750?
Westminster Bridge.
Yes, which Norse poet wrote the lines, London Bridge is broken down, gold is won, and bright renown, referring to the demolition of the bridge in 1014?
Snorri Sturluson.
Otto Svata, who collaborated with Thomas Telford to submit designs for a new London Bridge in 1801?
George Dance the Younger.
James Douglas. What was the profession of the firm Wright and Gill, who occupied the remaining parts of the Chapel House from 1751 to 1759?
Stationers.
Yes. What was the name of the bridge's last inhabitant who left in 1762 when his landlady, Mary Russell's tenancy, came to an end?
John Evans.
Correct. Rennie's replacement for the old bridge was opened to the public by the King and Queen on which date in 1831?
1st of August.
Yes. In 1968, who bought Rennie's bridge and reassembled it in Lake Havasu City in Arizona?
Robert P. McCulloch Sr.
Yes. What was the name of the Dutchman who installed a waterworks at the northern end of the bridge in around 1582 to pump water from the Thames into the city?
Peter Morris.
Yes. Who wrote a survey of London, which was first published in 1598? It's a valuable source on the early history of the bridge.
John Stowe.
Correct. According to one of the earliest post-Roman references to London Bridge, for what crime was a woman thrown from the bridge into the Thames in the latter part of the 10th century?
Witchcraft.
Yes. Which architect, whose father designed a block of houses on the bridge, I'll finish the question, is believed to have made the first accurate measurement and drawings of the bridge in 1799?
George Dance the Younger.
Correct. You had no passes. David Clark, you have 15 points. And our last finalist, please. And your name is?
Derek Moody,
Your occupation?
production manager.
And your last two subjects have been the television series The Survivors and The Edge of Darkness. Your subject tonight is?
The Godfather film trilogy. I've watched the Godfather films probably about 40 to 50 times. But probably in my revision for the final, I've been through the films about 15 times. The Godfather film trilogy is the best film trilogy that's ever been made. Its style, its themes are very thought-provoking.
Buon appetito.
Grazie. To be in the final is probably one of my lifetime achievements. It's a thing I've always aspired to do. Anything further than that, that's a bonus.
Grazie.
Grazie.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
2 minutes on the Godfather film trilogy starting now. In The Godfather, what is the name of the undertaker who asks Don Corleone to give him justice for his daughter?
Buonasera.
Correct. In part 2, Hyman Roth tells Michael Corleone that their criminal organisation is bigger than which corporation?
US Steel.
Yes. Who was responsible for the cinematography on all 3 films and received an Oscar nomination for his work on part 3?
Gordon Willis.
Correct. Michael kills Virgil Sollozzo and the corrupt police captain McCluskey at which restaurant in the Bronx?
Louise.
Yes. In part 3, the Corleone family agrees to deposit $600 million with the Vatican Bank in return for control of which worldwide property and investment company?
Immobiliari.
Yes. What is the name of Michael's Sicilian bride who's killed by a car bomb that was intended to assassinate Michael?
Apollonia.
Yes. Several villages near which Sicilian city were used to film the scenes set in Corleone, as the actual village was thought to look too modern?
Tamarina.
Yes. To whom is Vito referring on the first occasion that he says, "I'll make him an offer he can't refuse"?
Jack Woltz.
Yes. What's the name of the cardinal and future pope to whom Michael makes a tearful confession of his sins, which include the murder of his own brother?
Lamberto.
Yes. On which immigrant ship does the young Vito Andolini arrive in New York, where his name is inadvertently changed by a customs official?
Moshula.
Yes. Who is the only significant character outside the Corleone and Hagen families to appear in all 3 films?
Alneri.
Yes. Which song from part 3 was nominated for the Oscar for Best Original Song?
Miracle Man.
Promise me you'll remember. What's the name of the mafia chieftain who gives Michael protection during his exile in Sicily?
Don Tomasino.
Yes. In part 2, who does Frank Pintangeli describe as Hyman Roth's Sicilian messenger boy during Antony's confirmation celebration at Lake Tahoe?
Johnny Ola.
Yes. When Michael's discussing Archbishop Gilday's problems with the Vatican's finances in part 3, what does he describe as being like oil and water?
Friendship and Money.
Correct. Which singer had signed to play Johnny Fontaine in the first film but backed out and was replaced by Al Martino?
Damone.
Yes, Victor Damone. What was the name of Vito's 14-year-old brother who was killed by Don Ciccio's men as part of a vendetta?
Paolo.
Yes, at the beginning of part 3, Michael's invested with which papal order by Archbishop Gilday in recognition of his charitable work?
The Order of San Sebastian.
Yes, that is correct. Derek Moody, no passes. You have 17 points. So that's the end of the specialist subject round. Let's have a look at the scores. In joint 5th place with 12 points, Stuart Cross and Sandra Piddock. In 4th place with 13 points, Anna Torpey. In 3rd place with 15 points, David Clark. 2nd place with 16 points, very close this, David Down. In the lead with 17 points, Derek Moody. So, a tight contest. Now, before we move on to the general knowledge round, let's have a closer look at the city that is playing host to this year's final.
Welcome to Glasgow. This historic city was founded back in the 6th century by its patron, St Mungo. Glasgow is the land of the tree, the bird, the fish and the bell, as shown in the city's coat of arms. It's a city with the architectural beauty to match its fellow grand European cities, Rome, Paris and Barcelona. In the 18th century, Glasgow developed into a major international port, and this tradition continues today. Glasgow, of course, built the major liners, the QE2 and the Royal Yacht Britannia. Grand architecture and design reflect the splendour of Glasgow, and its Victorian structures still enrich the city today. Like the Kibble Palace Gardens, John Kibble donated his conservatory to the people of Glasgow in the 1870s. And the necropolis. It stands on a hill to the east of Glasgow. Built in the 1830s and modelled on the Parisian Mount Louis in Père Lachaise, this is home to the remains of 50,000 eminent Glaswegians. Of course, football has been the lifeblood of the city for over 100 years, with 2 of its major stadiums designed by Archibald Leitch. There's Ibrox Park, home to Rangers, and Celtic Park, home to Celtic FC. Celtic was founded by the Irish priest brother Walfrid. At the heart of Glasgow is the River Clyde, where the waterfront now represents the future of the city, with its breathtaking light-reflective structures, including Sir Norman Foster's Scottish Conference and Exhibition Centre, affectionately nicknamed the Armadillo. The River Clyde in the Glasgow Harbour area is being regenerated with a mix of working shipyards and new homes for young city dwellers. Today, Glasgow welcomes over 3 million visitors a year. And did you know it's the curry capital of the UK? Glasgow remains a city rich in culture, arts and history. It's a city proud to flaunt its heritage and that it's Britain's second city.
So we're on the last leg of the journey, the final general knowledge round. And remember, if there's a tie at the end of this round, then the number of passes get taken into account. And the contender with the fewest passes is the winner. But if that doesn't separate them, then there will be a 5-question tiebreak. So, with so much at stake, it's perhaps better to take an educated guess than to pass. Let's get on with the general knowledge round then and ask Stuart Cross to join us again, if he would, please. And you're the man, and with the prodigious knowledge of that extraordinary place, Venice. But you chose a particular period, 639 to 1797, and the reason for that was?
Well, 639 was the foundation of Torcello Cathedral, which is accepted as the real beginning of the development of the lagoon. And 1797 was when the last Doge handed over power to Napoleon. Rather abjectly, it must be said, but in doing so, probably preserved the city as we know it.
Because if they'd fought over it, there mightn't be much left of it
yes,
today.
Yes, indeed, yes.
But why did they decide to build the city there, knowing what the problems were?
Well, they fled there, really, from the barbarian hordes, and they decided that they were safer there than anywhere. And indeed, it proved to be the case. I mean, they managed to repel a great many invaders over the centuries.
How long can Venice survive? Can Venice survive the flooding?
Well, they always say, you know, that Venice is in peril, as indeed it is, but it always was. I mean, in 1105, the island of Malamocca, which was in fact one of the original settlements, just completely went through a combination of earthquake, high tides, fire. It just disappeared completely. So if there is a general rise in sea level around the world, it is extraordinarily vulnerable. And we must all fear for it, I think, if that happens.
Well, it would be the most terrible loss to civilization.
It would. I have a certain optimism that the Venetians will somehow cope, because they have somehow coped for centuries.
So it might see us out, is what you're saying?
Oh, I think it'll see us out. I rather hope it sees a few more people out, because it is just the most incredibly beautiful city in the world.
Yeah.
There's nothing quite like it.
Nope, agree with you on that. Right, now you have 12 points with your knowledge of Venice. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge. 2 minutes, starting now. Following which major crisis of 1962 was the so-called hotline from the White House to the Kremlin set up?
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yes. Which of the Christian sacraments takes its name from the Greek for to dip in or wash?
Baptism.
Yes. For what type of books is the German publishing house of Baedeker particularly known?
Travel guides.
Yes. Which popular singer who died in February 2007, aged 93, was born Francesco Lovecchio and sang the theme songs for several westerns, including Rawhide?
Pass.
What name is given to the principal arteries found on either side of the neck?
The carotids.
Yes. Born in 1767, Edward, Duke of Kent, was the father of which British monarch?
Victoria.
Yes. What was the title of P.C. Wren's best-known novel about the French Foreign Legion, first published in 1924?
Beaugest.
Yes. Which waterway separates the African continent from Asia?
The Suez Canal.
Yes. Which British actor played the title role in the 2004 film King Arthur with Keira Knightley as Guinevere?
Colin Farrell?
Clive Owen. On the pedestal of which famous landmark is the poem The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus inscribed, which includes the line, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free"?
The Statue of Liberty.
Yes. Where in Sussex has the British show jumping derby been held since 1961?
Hixton.
Yes. In natural history, what is the alternative English name for the ounce, which lives in the high mountains of Central Asia and India?
Snow leopard.
Correct. Which television series of the 1970s featured the schooner Charlotte Rhodes?
The Aeneid Line.
Yes. In music, what is the general term for a song by a solo performer with instrumental accompaniment, such as one in an opera or oratorio?
Aria.
Yes. In which year was the Representation of the People Act passed in the United Kingdom, which first gave the vote to some, but not all, women in parliamentary elections?
1920.
1918. Which novelist's works include Lord Jim and Nostromo?
Joseph Conrad.
Yes. What name is given to leather coated with lacquer to give it a hard, glossy surface?
Shellac.
Patent. The north and south branches of which major river join near Hexham in Northumberland?
At the time.
Yes. What was the name of the papyrus boat in which Tor Heyerdahl attempted to cross the Atlantic in 1969 to demonstrate, I'll finish the question, that ancient civilizations could have reached the New World?
Kontiki.
The Ra. You had one pass. The name of that singer was Frankie Lane. Stuart Cross, you have a total of 26 points. And now Sandra Piddock, please. And it ain't half hot, mum, was your choice. I suspect you
Yes.
rather liked it.
Yes, yes.
Why?
I like the classic comedies. Anything that makes you laugh without upsetting Aunt Edna or without having to kick the kids out of the room is...
Clean comedy,
Clean
family
comedy.
fun.
Should never go out of fashion, should it?
Jimmy Perry was one of the writers. He and
David Croft.
And they were a particularly impressive pair of writers, weren't they? Because of the stuff they produced over the years. Extraordinary. They did Dad's Army, It Ain't Half Hot, Mum.
Yes, there was Heidi High.
Of course.
And then David Croft wrote Hello, Hello, and Are You Being Served with Jeremy Lloyd. They were a prolific writing team, and Jimmy Perry's still writing today.
Is he?
Yes.
You don't think, do you, that stuff was a wee bit too simplistic?
It wasn't simple at all when you look at it, was it? Of course, it was a very interesting time in history at the end of the British Raj in India. And the language, the Urdu that was spoken was Urdu.
You're not a bit of an old fuddy-duddy, are you?
No.
No.
I just like a laugh. And I think, yes, there are some good comedies around today, but I do think that perhaps some of the more modern comedians rely a little bit too much on the shock factor instead of just developing a situation.
Fair enough. You have 12 points with your knowledge of It Ain't Half Hot, Mum. 26 at the moment is the score to beat. Let's how you do with your general knowledge. 2 minutes starting now. Who established the Metropolitan Police Force in 1829, the nickname Bobby being taken from his first name?
Robert Peel.
Yes, what's the name of the Italian brandy made from the skins, pips and stalks left over from winemaking?
Grappa.
Yes, in which county is Leeds Castle a favoured residence of Henry VIII?
Kent.
Yes, in classical mythology, who's the Roman equivalent of Athene, the Greek goddess of wisdom?
Minerva.
Yes, which left-wing theatre company was founded in 1945 with Joan Littlewood as artistic director, was based at the Theatre Royal, Stratford East, from 1953.
The Old Vic.
Theatre Workshop. Which black and white marine mammal with a fierce reputation is the largest member of the dolphin family?
Killer whale.
Yes, what did the inventor Thomas Edison describe as 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration?
Pass.
Which spa town gave its name to the collaborationist government led by Marshal Pétain from 1940 to 44?
Vichy.
Yes, which court official in England and Wales holds the inquest to decide whether a find of gold or silver should be classed as treasure?
Coroner.
Yes, which character in Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream could put a girdle round about the earth in 40 minutes?
Puck.
Yes, in the late 19th century, what nickname for 28th Street in New York and Denmark Street in London was applied to the popular music industry in general?
Tin Pan Alley.
Yes, which English horror writer's first novel, The Rats, was published in 1974?
James Herbert.
Yes, which 60s cult television series was known as TW3?
That was the week that was.
Yes, what's the name of the Spencer family's ancestral home in Northamptonshire?
Althorp.
Yes, what is the title of the Beatles soundtrack album released in November 2006, originally conceived by George Martin and his son Giles for the Cirque du Soleil stage production of the same name?
The White Album.
Love. Which European city hosted the Summer Olympic Games in 1972?
Munich.
Yes. Which Oscar-winning actress was elected Labour MP for Hampstead and Highgate in the 1992 general election?
Glenda Jackson.
Correct. Job Charnock, an administrator with the East India Company, is credited with founding which city in 1690?
Calcutta.
Calcutta is correct. You had one pass. Thomas Edison said genius was 1%
Yes.
inspiration and 99% perspiration. Sandra Piddock, you have 27 points.
Thank you.
And now Anna Torpey, please. Steve McQueen is your, I don't know, I'm guessing your cinema hero?
Yeah, he's become an iconic figure. A lot of people who are my age and younger have got a T-shirt with him on, for example. But yet they haven't seen any of his films. So I think that's a real shame, because he's got a massive body of work there, which is phenomenal. And he's got a lot to teach young actors of today.
A difficult actor for a
Yes.
director, wasn't he?
He was. He could be very, very, very difficult. If he perceived that the director was a suit, as he put it, a member of the establishment, then he'd give them a lot of problems. But if the director got hold of him before production started and said to him, "Now look, don't mess me around," and basically showed him who was boss, then he was okay.
He did all his own stunts.
A lot. Apparently, the stunt riders, the motorbike riders in Germany in The Great Escape weren't as good as him. So when he was being chased by them, John Sturgis, the director, saw that, they could do with Steve dressing up as one of the German soldiers and filming him, chasing after himself. But actually, you can tell it's him, actually.
Now, you have 13 points. The score to beat at the moment is 27 points. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge. Here we go, 2 minutes. What's the name of Ozzy Osbourne's daughter with whom he recorded the successful 2003 song Changes?
Kelly.
Yes. Which soda and statesman has a dish named after him that consists of pullet steak topped with truffles, mushrooms or pâté enclosed in a puff pastry case?
Wellington.
Yes. In the Bible, who was the last of the judges and anointed Saul as Israel's first king?
David.
Samuel. In which English city is Chetham's Library, one of the oldest public libraries in Europe?
Leeds.
Manchester. The name of which currency comes from the German word Joachimsthaler, a coin from the silver mine at Joachimsthal?
Rand.
Dollar. What's the meaning of the musical instruction da capo, usually abbreviated to DC?
Go back to the beginning.
Yes. Which former EastEnders actress starred in the military drama series Red Cap and then in Hotel Babylon as the general manager?
Tamsin Outhwaite.
Yes. Which 66-year-old grandmother became the first female Speaker of the American House of Representatives in the wake of the Democrats' 2006 election triumph?
Pass.
Which sport is known in Italy as calcio?
Football.
Yes. In the stories by P.L. Travers, Mary Poppins tells the children she will stay until what changes?
The wind.
Yes. Which member of the pigeon family can have as many as 42 tail feathers?
Peacock.
Fantail. The Royal House of Braganza ruled which European country from 1640 to 1910?
Portugal.
Yes. What name is given to the waxy substance produced in the intestine of the sperm whale, which was once an important ingredient in perfume making?
Pass.
Which actor appeared as Danny Zuko in the 1973 London stage production of Grease before going on to star in the films The Cotton Club and No Mercy in the 80s?
Pass.
The British sovereign bases of Decalia and Akrotiri are in which country?
Pass.
What term for a male witch or wizard comes from the Old English for a breaker of an agreement or a scoundrel?
Warlock.
Yes, in Jed Rubenfeld's novel, The Interpretation of Murder, which psychoanalyst is enlisted by the narrator to help solve a crime in New York? I'll tell you, because your time is up, it was Sigmund Freud. And your other passes, Cyprus is where those bases are, Decalia and Akrotiri. Richard Gere was the actor who appeared as Danny Zuko. Ambergris is produced by the sperm whale, and Nancy Pelosi is the first female Speaker of the American House of Representatives. 5 passes, Anna Torpy, 21 points. And now David Clark, please. London Bridge.
Indeed.
Very old bridge. Well, lots of London bridges over the years, obviously.
Yeah, quite right. I mean, to be honest, we don't really know how many wooden bridges that there ever were before they put up the first stone bridge. We know that it was burnt down at least 8 times during the Anglo-Saxon period, so there could have been as many as 20 on the site.
Now, what the questions revealed was that people lived on London Bridge.
Absolutely.
What kind of people and why?
All human life was there, John, to be honest with you. You had battles on the bridge, and then you got charming little vignettes of life, like a future Lord Mayor of London, William Hewitt, who was a cloth merchant. His little daughter, Anna, when she was 7 years old, she fell out of the window straight into the river because it looked out straight onto the river. And the apprentice, a man called Edward Osborne, dived in straight after her, saved her. And of course, later on, the two of them fell in love, were married. Osborne himself became Lord Mayor. That's not a fairy story. That really happened.
Well, you couldn't make that up, as they say, could you? That's absolutely perfect.
If you did make it up, people wouldn't believe you, but it's true.
They wouldn't. But it was also used for some fairly gruesome purposes.
Absolutely. You asked the question about William Wallace's head being put onto the bridge. And heads continued on the bridge until...
Well, they'd execute somebody, chop their heads off, and then, what, just stick it on a
Yeah, it's
spike?
not quite as simple as that.
No?
They chop the head off, parboil
Yeah.
it, tar it, stick a coronet of ivy on its head to mock, and stick it up, and they could be there for months at a time.
Yeah. Right, London Bridge, an extraordinary institution.
Absolutely.
Almost. And you have 15 points with your knowledge of it. 27 is still the score to beat. Let's see if you can do it. General knowledge, 2 minutes. What name is given to the cup used by Christ at the Last Supper, which is the object of a legendary quest?
Holy Grail.
Yes, which mountain is known in the Tibetan language as Chomolungma, roughly meaning goddess, mother of the earth?
Everest.
Yes, which 1947 Tennessee Williams play tells of the culture clash between Blanche Dubois, a fading Southern belle, and Stanley Kowalski, a member of the industrial immigrant class?
A Streetcar Named Desire.
Correct. In policing, what does the acronym SOCO stand for?
Stad and Count. All.
Scene of crime officer. Which pub immortalised by Florrie Ford in a music hall song still stands near Hampstead Heath in London?
The Old Bull and Bush.
Yes, in the television series Life on Mars, in which year does DI Sam Tyler find himself living and working after a car crash?
1975.
1973. Who was the herald of the Greeks in the Trojan War and had a voice supposedly as loud as that of 50 men?
Stentor.
Correct. What title did the newspaper The Daily Worker adopt in 1966?
The Sun.
Morning Star. The blue, great, crested and long-tailed are among species of which small bird native to Britain?
Tit.
Correct. Who succeeded Duncan Fletcher as England's cricket coach after the team's poor performance in the 2007 World Cup?
Moores.
Yes, Peter Moores. Which Scottish author's works include the novels Glue, Filth and Trainspotting?
Irving Welsh.
Correct. Which Christian Democrat politician was finally ousted as German Chancellor in 1998 after 16 years in power?
Helmut Kohl.
Correct. Which member of the onion family, often served as a separate vegetable dish, has the scientific name Allium porum?
Shallot.
Leek. What name deriving from a Greek word meaning race is given to the study of family origins and history?
Genealogy.
Correct. During the Second World War, which country constructed the Metaxas line of defence against Bulgaria?
Greece.
Yes, the specialised muscle fibres known as the bundle of His are situated in which organ of the body?
The Heart.
Yes. Which pop duo consists of the vocalist Neil Tennant and keyboard player Chris Lowe?
The Pet Shop Boys.
Correct. What name is given to the force that attracts a body towards any other body having mass?
Gravity.
Yes, the 2007 film Goodbye Bafana is an account of whose 20-year relationship with James Gregory, his guard on Robben Island?
Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela. It is. No passes. David Clark, 30 points. And now David Down, please. And you took the D-Day landings, connected with the fact that your father took part in them, and indeed an uncle, and knew Montgomery.
My dad was a dispatch rider attached to Montgomery's headquarters. My uncle was right at the sharp end. He was an anti-tank gunner and saw some pretty horrific sights.
Now, the landings were absolutely extraordinary for all sorts of reasons. The biggest seaborne invasion there has ever been and ever will be, I imagine. But remarkable for more than just that. Remarkable for the fact that it was kept a secret from the Germans.
I think the fact that it was kept a secret, and indeed they were able to fool Hitler and his advisors into believing that a second landing was coming, is beyond belief. It couldn't happen today with the modern surveillance. And I think in the end it was one of the considerations that they decided they would go on the 6th because they couldn't keep their men on boats, as they'd been in there for 36 hours, and they couldn't keep their secrecy that secure for, say, another month, to which, when the tides and the moon would be right again.
But really, the most amazing military operation by any standards.
Oh, quite remarkable. It's the only word for it. The scale of it, 6,000 plus ships, 12,000 aeroplanes, 156,000 men landed in one day, 450,000 in a week, 1 million in a month. I just find it so moving to go to these places and to see the memorials and the cemeteries to these very brave men. Well, where would we be if they'd not been able to do this?
Well, it worked.
It worked, and thank goodness it did.
Now, you have 16 points. The D-Day landings, 30 is now the score to beat. Let's see if you can do it with your general knowledge. Tiananmen Square is in the centre of which capital city?
Beijing.
Correct. In April 1999, the word claimant replaced which term in England and Wales for a person who brings an action in a court of law?
Pass.
What general name is given to the sparkling Spanish wine made by the method champenoise?
Cava.
Correct. In Britain, which precious metal was traditionally hallmarked with an orb within a pentagonal shield?
Silver.
Platinum. First staged in 1959, which musical was Rodgers and Hammerstein's last collaboration?
Flower drum song.
Sound of Music. Which Muslim leader of Kurdish origin had united all of Syria, Mesopotamia, Palestine and Egypt under his own Sunni rule by 1186?
Saladin.
Correct. What's the alternative name for the endangered bird, the landrail, because of its distinctive rasping call?
Corncrake.
Correct. The title of which 2007 film about William Wilberforce and the abolition of the slave trade is taken from a hymn by the former slave trader turned abolitionist John Newton?
Pass.
In 1903, which American industrialist built an enormous chocolate manufacturing plant in Pennsylvania, followed by the company town that still bears his name?
Mars.
Hershey. What name is given to the fluid content of blood?
Plasma.
Yes. Who was Secretary General of the United Nations from 1972 to 81 and President of Austria from 1986 to 92?
Kurt Waldheim.
Correct. In Greek mythology, which tribe of wild creatures, half man and half horse, lived on wooded mountains, especially in Thessaly?
Centaurs.
Yes. Which writer and founder of the magazine Popular Flying created the heroic airman and detective known as Biggles?
W.E. Johns.
Yes. Who in 1953 became the first woman to complete the tennis Grand Slam?
Maureen Connolly.
Correct. Which weapon was considered so lethal its use against Christians was outlawed by the Lateran Council of 1139?
Pass.
Which television comedy actor who died in 2005 published 2 books of saucy Victorian postcards entitled Gentleman's Relish and Sugar and Spice in the 1970s?
Ronnie Barker.
Correct. In Byron's epic poem, Don Juan, the English winter ends in July to recommence in which month?
August.
Correct. What was the name of the Soviet Union's official news agency set up in 1925?
TASS.
Correct. In the television programme MASH, what was the nickname of Corporal Walter O'Reilly, played by Gary Berghoff?
Hawkeye.
Radar was his name. You had a total of 3 passes. The crossbow was considered too lethal for use. Amazing Grace was the title of that film, and the word claimant replaced plaintiff. 3 passes, David Down, 28 points. And finally, Derek Moody, please. Now, you're the Godfather man, as it were. There's a story told that the boss of Paramount promised one of the mafia leaders that they would not use the word mafia in the films. Is that true?
That is correct, yes. The Italian-American Civil Rights League had raised a lot of money and they wanted to actually stop the movie itself.
Because they thought it would give Italian-Americans a bad name.
Correct,
obviously.
yes. And the producer, Al Rudy, went to meet one of the leading mafia bosses in New York, Joe Colombo. And Colombo said, well, don't use the word mafia or Cosa Nostra in the movie. And Rudy agreed without actually knowing what was in the screenplay.
But it was in later ones.
It was in the latest picture. By that time, they had the tacit approval of the mafia, so they could use whatever terms they wanted.
And I suppose if you were cynical, you would say that the mafia were presented in a fairly romanticised light.
To an extent, yes. But it was basically, if you take the whole 3 movies as a whole, you see a guy who wanted to never be in the mafia, forced to be in the mafia because of the love of his family. And then everything he did trying to protect his family, he ended up losing it. So in the trilogy overall, it says a morality tale. You can be a vicious thug, but you're never going to get what you want.
All right, now, you have 17 points, and this is the crucial stage of this grand final, because 30 is the score to beat. Let's see if you can do it. 2 minutes of general knowledge, starting now. What name is often given to the smallest animal in a litter is also used as an insult?
Runt.
Yes, the original male members of which movement, founded in America in 1965, had shaven heads and wore saffron robes like Buddhist monks?
Hare Krishnas.
Correct. In the television series Doctor Who, what's the name of the companion played by Freema Agyeman?
Mary.
Martha. Which city is the capital of the Madeira Islands?
Funchal.
Yes. Which author, usually known for children's literature, wrote the book and animated film When the Wind Blows, a parable about a nuclear holocaust?
Briggs.
Yes. Fossilised remains of which extinct relative, the elephant, have been found in Europe, Asia, Africa and North America?
Mammoth.
Yes. Who, when he was appointed Defence Secretary by President Ford in 1975, was the youngest holder of the post? By the time he was asked to step down by President Bush in 2006, he'd become the oldest.
Weinberger.
Rumsfeld. What is the nationality of the tennis player Ilie Nastase, who was a finalist twice in the men's singles at Wimbledon in the 1970s?
Romanian.
Correct. The national anthem of Liechtenstein, Oben am Jungen Rhein, uses the same tune as which other well-known national anthem?
Rubritannia.
God Save the Queen. Which novel by Lew Wallace was subtitled A Tale of the Christ and was made into films in 1907, 1925, and most spectacularly in 1959?
Ben-Hur.
Correct. In which flagship, formerly called the Pelican, did Sir Francis Drake circumnavigate the globe between 1577 and 1580?
Golden Hind.
Correct. What name was given to the Federal Republic that ruled Germany from 1919 until 1933 when Hitler came to power?
Weimar.
Yes. Which country became the 50th member of the British Commonwealth when it achieved its independence from South Africa in 1990?
Swaziland.
Namibia. Which river forms much of the boundary between Derbyshire and Staffordshire?
Avon.
Dove. Which film actor is most closely associated with the Sundance Film Festival for young filmmakers?
Redford.
Yes. Which queen, the legendary founder of the city of Carthage, committed suicide after she was abandoned by her lover Aeneas?
Dido.
Yes. What colloquial term is used for any bowed string instrument, especially the violin, when used as a folk instrument?
Viola.
Fiddle. Which poem by John Keats begins, "A thing of beauty is a joy forever"?
Skylark.
Endymion, whose first chart entry, I've started start to finish, after the breakup of the Smiths, was Suede Head, which got to number 5 in February 1988.
Morrissey.
Morrissey is correct. No passes. Derek Moody, 29 points. Well, what a contest. What a grand final. Let's have a look at the scores. In 6th place with 21 points, Anna Torpy. In 5th place with 26 points, Stuart Cross. In 4th place with 27 points, Sandra Piddock. In 3rd place with 28 points, David Down. In 2nd place with 29 points, Derek Moody. The winner, Mastermind champion with 30 points, David Clark. And now to present the Mastermind Trophy, Magnus's daughter, Sally Magnuson. Well, wouldn't Magnus have been absolutely delighted, A, to have seen that contest, Chancellor of this university, fabulous in every sense.
He'd have been thrilled. He was so passionately proud of this university, you know, its achievements, its aspirations, both of which, of course, symbolise in this wonderful building. Yeah. And I was just sitting there thinking that, you know, two of his great loves, Mastermind and Glasgow Caledonian University, both celebrated here tonight. He'd have been very moved, as are we.
And a great contest as well. Couldn't have been closer.
Wasn't it terrific?
And what a winner. David Clark, come and receive your trophy.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
And now, you've got to go back to face the school children with that now. Are they going to be pleased?
They're going to be absolutely over the moon.
You're still looking a bit shell-shocked, actually.
I came here not expecting to win, to be honest with you. I was just delighted to be here. So this is an honour I cannot describe.
Congratulations once again. I do hope you've enjoyed the contest. Do join us later in the year for more Masterminds. Good night.